Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we're starting off another reading vlog, which I'm really excited for. This one you're not going to see probably until July. I'm starting it in May. It is currently May 17th, but this is going to be me reading 4 of my most anticipated releases for the year. These 4 books have been 4 that I have on my Amazon wish list. I haven't bit the bullet on pre-ordering them yet just because I want to go physically to the store and pick them up. It's always just so much more fun, but I have been like so excited and so looking forward to these 4 books. But I'm starting the reading vlog now because the first one was released in May. So the 4 books that I am most anticipating reading this year, I'm sure it'll change as I find new authors and things, but these are the 4 books I'm looking the most forward to. The first is Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes, which I currently have in my possession. I just recently subscribed to the Aardvark book club. They have so many great horror picks, and I just don't know why I haven't subscribed before. But this was my first book and I knew it had to happen because I have been looking forward to this book for so long. We'll talk about this a little bit more. The second book that I'm most looking forward to comes out June 11th, and it is The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. I will say I loved The Housemaid, the first book. It was so good. The Housemaid's Secret, the sequel to The Housemaid, was okay for me. It wasn't as great, but I just have this feeling that Miss Frida, she's gonna come back with this 3rd book and it's gonna be really good. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then 2 books that are coming out on June 18th are Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I'm a huge Riley Sager fan. I just completely finished his backlist a couple of days ago, and I actually am going to be filming a full Riley Sager video that should be up way before this one. So if you want to check that out, definitely do so. I'll put the link to it down below. But I'm really looking forward to Middle of the Night. It is his newest release. We're currently going to be following a male point of view, which he has always written from a female's perspective. So I'm really excited to see this one. And then the last book that I'm most looking forward to also comes out on June 18th, and that is The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I have also read all of Lucy Foley's backlist, I think. I'm pretty sure. And I really love the way Lucy Foley writes. That multiple POV really gets me. I love a good thriller, so I'm really looking forward to Midnight Feast. But those all come out in June. So today, I'm starting Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I read Dead Silence last year by S.A. Barnes, and it was one of my top 3 favorite books of the year. Probably my top horror pick of the year. It's like sci-fi horror. It was so good. It gave me if you've ever seen the movie Ghost Ship, it gave me Ghost Ship vibes, but in space. It was so good. And the second I finished that book, I clicked on Goodreads on S.A. Barnes and just looked to see what else they had written, and there was nothing but Ghost Station, which was coming soon. And I was like, oh, I can't wait for this to come out. So I've been eagerly anticipating this. It is supposed to also be sci-fi horror, and I am so excited. So just for a quick synopsis, oh, first of all, also here's the Aardvark bookmark. This book better be good. That's so cute. Anyway, just for a quick, oh, I'm so excited, synopsis, it basically says, psychologist Dr. Ophelia Bray has dedicated her life to the study and prevention of Eckhart-Reiser syndrome, the most famous case of which resulted in the brutal murders of 29 people. It's personal to her, and when she's assigned to a small exploration crew who recently suffered the tragic death of a colleague, she wants to help. But as they begin to establish residency on an abandoned planet, it becomes clear that the crew is hiding something. And Ophelia's crewmates are far more interested in investigating the eerie, ancient planet and unraveling the mystery behind the previous colonizers' hasty departure than opening up to her. That is until their pilot is discovered gruesomely murdered. Is this Ophelia's worst nightmare starting? A wave of violence and mental deterioration from ERS? Or is it something even more sinister? Terrified that history will repeat itself, Ophelia and the crew must work together to figure out what's happening, but trust is hard to come by, and the crew members aren't the only ones keeping secrets. So it sounds like she's also going to be an unreliable narrator. It's sci-fi horror again. I can't wait. I'm starting this today. I'm so excited. So Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes is up first. Okay, so I'm here with my first update for Ghost Station. I've obviously taken off the outer, almost like packaging, the dust jacket. I'm about 30% of the way through. I'm on page 113, chapter 11. And so far I'm not getting that loving feeling the way I did with Dead Silence. I get the same vibes, they're in space. They just now, 100 and some pages in, got to the actual station. That's what I'm assuming the ghost station is. But the horror hasn't really started yet. We're about 100 pages in, and nothing really crazy has happened. There's been inklings of things being characters being scared of like little things but not really putting like things together yet. So like none of the horror part has really started yet. Kind of like, I don't want to say the word boring, but it is a little bit boring because I feel like with Dead Silence, like it started really quickly, and I think that's why I liked it so much. I feel like I'm gonna read it more tonight, and I feel like it's gonna probably start progressing a little bit more. I mean, at least it has to. So that's just my little update. Sorry, it's like bedtime, the kiddos are all around, but I'm hoping it gets a little bit scarier tonight because so far I'm not loving it the way I thought I would. You guys, it's 7 in the morning. I just sent my kid off to her last day of 3rd grade, and I'm like feeling emotional. But last night I finished Ghost Station by S.A. Barnes. I hate how much I didn't like this. I didn't like this at all. I felt like it took me like 5 or 6 days to read this book, which is such a bad sign because if I love a book, even if it's 1,000 pages, I'll eat it up, I'll devour it, I'll read it quickly. And I felt like I was dragging my feet with this one. I just didn't love it. It didn't have the same appeal, or it just didn't have what I wanted. Like Dead Silence was so good last year. I remember reading that and just like talking about it to whoever would listen, and I remember loving it so much. So when, you know, I saw another sci-fi Ghost Station horror book by S.A. Barnes, I was so excited for this, and I'm so sad to report that I didn't love this. I ended up giving it a 2-star. I felt the book was really boring. The pacing was so slow. So slow. It was brutal. And the horror elements to me, I mean, yeah, I guess if they were happening in real life would be very scary, but I just didn't love them as much as I loved Dead Silence. And that sucks. It sucks that the first book in this reading vlog came out to be a 2-star, but I didn't love this at all. I will continue to look out for new releases from S.A. Barnes if there's any more sci-fi horror, and I will probably give her next book a try. But after that, if that book is also 3 stars or less, I might have to be done because I just couldn't. And I feel so bad saying that, but I just did not love this the way I expected to. And that's so disappointing. So now I have to wait like 3 weeks for my next new release, but I'm so disappointed in this. I really am. And it like bums me out, you guys. It like bums me out. So Ghost Station, 2 stars. I'm sad about it. Hi guys, guess what? So new releases have started coming out. So the first one we're going to be reading next, I just finished a book last night, so I'm so excited. This book came last night as well. The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden. This is the 3rd book in like the Housemaid series, and I will say I loved the initial The Housemaid, obsessed with it. I read that book in like a day and a half, couldn't put it down. It was so great. And then I read The Housemaid's Secret, and it was okay. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but it just kind of felt like the same recycled storyline, and so you kind of understood the twist, but like it was still a good time. It was still a Frida McFadden. It was a popcorn thriller, easy to read. But I am looking forward to The Housemaid is Watching. I don't know if this is going to be the final book in this Housemaid series. It also is like the biggest. It feels pretty long. Yeah, this one is, it's like 380 some pages, which feels a little bit long for these books, but regardless, I am so excited. I picked this up without really even knowing what it's about. It's still about the housemaid, the person we're following, but it's kind of like they move to this neighborhood, and like, because I don't know, I can't really explain it too much because like I feel like I would be spoiling the first 2 books, but if you have not read The Housemaid or The Housemaid's Secret, just get on it. They're really quick, really easy, fun thrillers, and I'm so looking forward to reading this one. So I'm gonna be starting this one today. It just basically, the blurb at the top just says, "My past is far, far behind us, and I'll do anything to keep it that way." Love that. So starting this one today, and I'm so freaking excited. So I'm about halfway through The Housemaid is Watching right now. The first night I read like 30 pages, fell asleep. This is very normal for me. Second night I read it, I got to page 200, no, 160, and then I got to like 200. I'm actually really liking this. I feel like the reason I rated The Housemaid's Secret so like lowly as opposed to The Housemaid is because it was just the same story, just different, like a little different. This, I feel like we're following a whole new story. Like, we're in suburbia. I'm like really entranced by this mystery right now. I really want to know, like, I feel like we're getting all these like clues to different like mysteries, and I really want to know what's happening. There's like multiple people that I'm yep, got it. There's multiple people that I'm convinced are horrible, and so yeah, I feel like I'm really like enjoying this. I'm flipping pages really quickly. I just want to follow this mystery, and maybe I'm missing something. Maybe this is easy to predict, but I'm just sitting here just really enjoying myself so far. So I think I'm gonna read a little bit more and hopefully finish it within the next couple of days, because I got my other 2 books in the mail when I pre-ordered them, so they came a couple of days ago, and so I want to get into those. But yes, I'm really enjoying this so far. That's my update. I think, like, I don't know, I just like the whole, it just feels different. I like the whole suburban situation. I like that it's like she has kids and like a whole family, and she's dealing with other factors other than just like this big old mystery. It's spooky, it's fun, I'm enjoying it. So I'm kind of the worst, and it's been like almost a week since I've updated you. I did finish this book that night. I read like 100 and some pages, finished it, and I'm already like in the middle of another book, so let me update you. So The Housemaid is watching. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I really liked this. I felt like Frida, my girl, got back to her housemaid roots. We weren't following the same path. I loved it. And like last time I updated you too, we didn't even finish part 1 yet, and one of my favorite things about her as a writer is like at the end of every part there's like this just absolutely off the wall cliffhanger. Sorry, my husband's cooking. And truly, like, the first part ended with an absolutely off the wall cliffhanger, the second part ended with a cliffhanger, and it was just so fun, and it was just so different than The Housemaid's Secret. I just felt like The Housemaid's Secret was just another reiteration of The Housemaid. I had a good time with this one. I will say though, you do need to read The Housemaid's Secret in order to read this. That's my opinion, but I had a good time with this. Now let's get into this one. So then I started Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This is how far in I am, guys. Like, I have not updated you at all. So I saw a Goodreads review that basically said go into this fully blind, don't even read the synopsis. So I'm gonna kind of go through this like very generically, but we're following for the first time a male protagonist written by Riley Sager, and he's back at his childhood home for like certain reasons, nothing too crazy, but essentially like when he was a kid, his best friend was literally taken from the tent they were camping out in his backyard in the middle of the night. No idea what happened to him, middle of the night. So we're following this now, and just in regular Riley Sager fashion, we're following a present day storyline, which is Ethan, who's trying to like, he's essentially kind of like living like a ghost story right now, and I'm really hoping this ends up being a ghost story because I love when he writes paranormal thrillers, but I don't know. And then in the past, we're following not just Ethan, but like all of the characters that were around that day, like the day it happened. So like we're not just following one point of view for the like past, and I really like that because that's something new, and I'm really enjoying seeing different perspectives. But yeah, so I'm about like 60% of the way through now, and I plan on getting like a pretty good chunk of this done tonight. And I will say, like, it started off really strong. It started off really spooky, which I really liked. Like, the first chapter was creepy, and I love that, and that's why I thought it was like a ghost story. But like, we are kind of getting this weird slow burn right now where like we as a reader and also Ethan, our protagonist, is finding things out slowly but surely. So we're finding out these mysteries slowly but surely, and I just know we're about to get hit with like a bunch of twists at once, so I'm getting prepared for it. But so far I am liking it. I'm not hating it. I am enjoying it. I do like the story. I hope it stays a ghost story because I love his paranormal thrillers, but I will not tell you if it is a ghost story because I want you guys to find out for yourselves. But I will say The House Across the Lake, amazing. Loved the paranormal aspect to that. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. That book's been out for a couple years now, but I hope it stays spooky because I really like it. So I'm hoping to get like a good chunk of it done tonight. I'm hoping to get to like here-ish, so I only have a little bit to finish tomorrow, but so far I am just so good, especially because Ghost Station was such a letdown. Genuine apologies for the way I look and the way I sound. I'm getting over a sickness. It's consuming me and I feel terrible, but I finished Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I've been so bad about this vlog, you guys. I finished this book like a week ago. Like a whole week ago. And I'm just now updating you. Ultimately, I'm giving this 4 stars. So I felt like throughout the entire book, it was very 3-star. I liked the premise. I liked the plot. It was moving a little bit slower than I'm used to with Riley Sager's. Hi, Millie. But ultimately, I liked the storyline and I liked everything about that. Both cats are joining me right now. So I liked all of that. And I will say what kind of gave it a 4-star for me at the end was the final end like scene. It was really heartwarming and really sad. And I feel like I've never experienced that from Riley Sager before. So I feel like this is something new he's trying. And I really liked it. I felt like it was very sweet. One thing I did enjoy about this as well is that there were a ton of twists and turns, as there usually are with Riley Sager books, but they weren't as like overbearing or intense. Like the amount of twists wasn't as intense as The Only One Left. I felt like the twists in that were there's just too many. It was just too many. And these, although there were a lot of twists, not a lot, but like there was a solid amount of twists, they were like not crazy. They were very just like minimal, but they really added to the story and I really liked it. So ultimately a 4-star. I'm so happy to have read this. Such a good time. And I haven't read it in a few nights because I don't know if you guys or any of you are soccer fans, but this summer it has been soccer season and all I've been doing is watching soccer. It's like Euros during the day, Copa America at night, so I haven't really had time to read. But I did get started on Lucy Foley's The Midnight Feast. I'm not very far into it at all. I am about 48 pages in right here. It's like not a lot at all. And so far I'm actually really enjoying it. So I know that's crazy to say being only 48 pages in, but it's just like, it's true Lucy Foley fashion where every chapter you're following a different character's point of view. And in this one, they're at this like resort that was just built. It's like a brand new luxury resort that like only the elite can stay at because you have to have a ton of money. And so we're following the point of view of the lady who opened it. We're following the point of view of a person who's like impersonating something. Like she has a room there, but like we just found out that she's like kind of like a lowly office worker and doesn't make a ton of money, so like she's impersonating somebody in order to get there, and we don't know why, like what she's doing, why she's there, but she's like anxious about it, which I like. We also followed the point of view of a bartender who's like a local, and like the place that they built this like manor on in like this estate, this hotel, whatever, is like not haunted, that's not the word I'm looking for, but like the grounds used to be used by like, I'm assuming like cult members, and it's like creepy and like a little spooky, and I kind of like that because I feel like in all of Lucy Foley's thrillers we like, I mean, has somebody died at the beginning? Yes, because at the beginning of every other Lucy Foley book I've read, The Guest List, The Hunting Party, The Paris Apartment, somebody dies at the beginning and you're just kind of following the point of views of everybody surrounding that. But like we already know who died, we already know like their like kind of like their backstory, and I feel like she never throws in like spooky stuff like this. So like I don't know, I'm really enjoying it. I can't wait to continue reading it. Tomorrow I'm actually going on a family like trip to visit family, so I'm gonna be taking this with me. I'm notorious though for taking books on like vacations or trips and just not reading them, so I'm hoping I can actually dive into it a little bit more. I don't know about you guys, but like when I get on airplanes, it's like white noise for me. I am asleep. Like I can't stay awake for longer than like 20 minutes, and like I mean it's both a blessing and a curse. So I'm gonna take this with me. I'm gonna try and finish it, and with that it'll be the last book of this little like video that I'm trying to do. But so far I'm feeling really positive about this. I just can't stop thinking about it, so I think that's a good sign, right? So I'm gonna go finish packing and add this to my carry-on, and I'm really excited. Okay, this position is very strange, but I wanted to change things up. They're watching the new Wonka movie and like singing. So I was like, I'm gonna come in here and chat with y'all. Actually, let me turn the fan off. I finished The Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. I will say, I don't know if it was because I was sick, but in the last clip I was like, nobody's died. Someone definitely died. It was just like a quick part at the beginning. It was like maybe a page from like a detective's point of view. Or not, it was like people on a boat's point of view of somebody dying, but I just must have glossed over it because I wasn't feeling well. I really liked this. I ended up giving it 4 stars. I don't even want to like spoil anything because like the entire like last quarter of the book was just so good. Like I truly felt like I knew what was happening towards like around the middle. I was like, oh, okay, like I see where this is going. I'm enjoying this. I'm like enjoying the ride. And then you're kind of thrown like a wrench and you're like, oh wait, like that's not what I expected. And then you have to kind of put the pieces back together. I know this is like me talking in like full, you don't even know, but like just trust, okay? Just trust. I really liked this. I feel like out of the 4, I think the 4 Lucy Foley mystery thrillers that I've read, I think those are the only ones she's written. This is definitely probably number 2. I really do need to reread The Guest List though. I read The Guest List. It was one of like the first books that I read that got me back into reading, and I gave that one like a 5-star. Absolutely loved it, and so I would put that at number 1, but I want to reread that because like I want to kind of decide if that truly is number 1, because this is definitely number 2. I thought this one gave like a little bit more of a spooky vibe, but it wasn't terrible, and like the thriller parts of it were so good. And I feel like what Lucy Foley does so well is she writes in multiple point of views, which is so fun to read from, but like they're quick. They're like 2 pages, and by multiple point of views I mean like 4 or 5 people, and like it seems like you can't keep track of it, but you absolutely can. It's very easy, and I love it because like you're reading from their point of view, you end on their point of view with a cliffhanger, you're into a new point of view, you're like, I need to know what happens, but then that point of view ends on a cliffhanger, but then you're back and you're like, ooh, I need to know what happens. Like it's just so easy to quickly flip through these books. You're not as confused, the story is still moving, and it's just not confusing. I think she does that so well, because like sometimes I feel like if that were to happen with any other author, I would be like, what's going on? But she does it really well. So 4 stars for sure. Absolutely love this. I have all 4 books that I read for this vlog here, and I'm just like, Ray's here. You too? I am just so pleasantly happy with all 4, well, with 3 of these. Out of my most anticipated releases for the year, 3 of the 4 definitely lived up to my expectations, lived up to my hype. I even was like, I had like no expectations for this book, and it is absolutely an unpopular opinion because I saw on Goodreads like everyone's not liking this, and I was just chatting with my friend about this book last night because we were talking about Frida McFadden, or we were talking about books in general, and she was telling me, she's like, yeah, if I ever need to, like, if I feel like I'm getting into a slump, I just read a quick Frida McFadden and it puts me right back. And I was like, absolutely. Did you read the new Housemaid? She was like, yeah, I really liked it. Did you like it? And I'm like, yes. So like I feel like we're like in the minority, so if you've read this, I really liked it. I thought it was a great time, and I had really low expectations for this one, especially after the second book, but like I still was anticipating it. I love Riley Sager. I like really do. So I had high expectations for this, and I feel like it was different than I expected, but I loved it. Ghost Station, I'm really upset about, unfortunately. I wanted this to be so good, and I'm just like bummed that it wasn't. But Midnight Feast was also amazing, and I'm like really happy about that too, because The Paris Apartment was the last one that came out last year or the year before, and it was okay, but this is just like so good. So I am so grateful for all of these, and I'm so happy that like my most anticipated reads of the year were amazing. I'm ready to not read thrillers for a minute. I'm currently reading a thriller, and I'm like, I gotta get out of these thrillers because I need to move on. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.